Hello, dear students and audience. Very warm welcome to Dr. Zia Ahmed YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss discourse analysis at an introductory level. So let us see what we can have about the understanding of discourse analysis. Here is a brief definition that according to this definition, discourse analysis becomes more important if the material of the text or that of visual and audio is seen along with the knowledge of the context also. At that time it's very easy and very clear to have an understanding of discourse analysis for the researcher. And then definitely there are certain steps which involve into it. For example, first of all, we need to begin with the research question. First of all, the research question should be set up. That will determine our aim or our style, what we want to do. And after the research question is settled, then according to the research question, we can go for the selection of materials and the samples and other things like that. For example, if you want to study the change which has taken place in any country, or the change from dictatorship to democracy, you need to understand these things, like the material accordingly, and establish a question. And later on, you can go to find out what the 10 years have been happening during the dictatorship and then the kind of democracy. So the second step would be to find out the materials with respect to theory and the context also. For example, when we want to discover what changes have taken place, we would be discovering in the market what has been happening and the people, what they have been doing, and then the literature review is also to be selected. So not only we need to work on the theory after the question, but also on the literature review relevant to this. For example, we want to collect certain information on politics and history of the country which we are studying. We will have to go for the theory which is relevant to democratic transitions from dictatorship, and also we shall be required to find out the relationship between the governments and the businesses. Step 3 would be involved about finding out the themes and the patterns which are involved into it. When we are researching according to the question, we are looking at the text, we are looking at the audios or the videos, we will try to find out the patterns and the themes, which is the base of the discourse analysis. And step 4 will be about the reviewing of the findings and the results and drawing conclusions accordingly. For example, what we have found about the materials and the theory and the research question answer will be given with respect to those things, the patterns and the results of the patterns or the themes which are present inside the text. That would be the type of literature review, and then the results can be drawn with respect to that. This example also goes to prove the same way that you have conducted everything. So it's a kind of whole summary of all this process of discourse analysis. Going next, we can also say that if the discourse analysis of the text can be done in that way, in case of speakers also the thing can be done. In case of the conversations also it can be done. The conversations, however, cannot be understood in one sentence. It needs to have at least 2 sentences, because the meaning of one sentence would also be clear until and unless the context is found out with the help of the second sentence. For example, here, first sentence is given, please use the toilet, not the pool. And then it is the kind of request. But why it is made, who has made, what's the reason behind that, it can be understood only when the second sentence is read out. The other announces pool for members only. So that is the kind of understanding of the context by at least 2 spoken sentences, one speaker, other listener. Discourse can be understood better with respect to the frames. We need to understand what is the context of the discourse which is being developed. For example, if you are reading something, you need to know where it is produced, what was the reason behind that, what is the type of article, topic, and ultimately if you come to the discourse which is about the listening and speaking, at this moment you need to understand the context very definitely, because if you open the TV channel or the radio and something is being done, as the example is given here, war of the words, one can take the impression perhaps the word has gone into war. But it was not the case. If you might have understood what's the program, who's the speaker, why it is being done, then definitely a different understanding of the analysis would be there. So for discourse analysis, we need to take care of the frames as well. We need to take care of the turn taking also. If there are 3-4 people, 1-2 people, what they are doing when the turn comes there. Are they just concluding their remarks and after that inviting the other person to speak, or somebody is regulating all that, or they are trying to overpower the conversation? This thing should also be talked about and understood with respect to the control which one speaker would like to have or the listener would like to have. If the listener is inferior somehow in any way, that listener would also definitely would be limiting himself in his speech and will be giving more chances of turn taking to the other people. And same would be the case with the person who thinks himself superior. So that person would try to dominate the text also. There are different ways of turn taking, and that should also be important in the discourse analysis. Discourse markers are again very much important thing. Discourse markers are with some words and sometimes with some only interjections, like for example, oh, or oh my god, and then it can be but and how. All these things are very much important with respect to discourse analysis, because one can understand why a particular discourse marker has been used at a specific place in the sentence, why it has been spoken, what's the reason behind that, what inspired all that, and the position and the status of these people can also be determined with respect to whether the person is a male or a female. Also, these discourse markers go to do that. Speech acts are very important in this regard. For example, if we are discussing something which is coming in the sentences which we are speaking, that suggests some action as well. For example, here's one example that of the Indian woman has been given. The Indian woman met her daughter-in-law first of all, and she, daughter-in-law, praised, admired the sari which he was wearing. So in Indian culture, there is a kind of habit or tradition that if somebody praises your sari, then you are required to give that as a gift. So mother-in-law said that the daughter-in-law is very greedy. On the very first meeting, she has demanded such a thing to be given as a gift. So our speeches can suggest to certain speech acts as well. This is also very important with respect to the discourse analysis. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully it has introduced what is discourse analysis with respect to the speech, with respect to the conversations. Hope to see you in some next video. If you like it, do not fail to hit the subscribe button and the like button. And also, if some comment is given, I may be replying later on. So see you in some next video. Thank you for watching.